Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Hebrew Bible, and I use the King James Version of the Christian Bible to put together the prophecy of Israel, which became the Book of Zion. And I had to write the Pot Smoker's Bible in order to publish the Book of Zion. And it is this combination of the book of prophecy, written entirely in Bible verse, and the Pot Smoker's Bible, that is the basis for this DM segment, Druggies Matter. Because you see, according to the prophecy of Israel, the actual Holy Bible, King James Version, all the versions, but King James has the particular language that is spoken by the people of by the Zionite people, which is the drug users. That's why your drug users matter. Because, you see, you guys didn't know this, but you were actually created by God. I'm going to let that soak in for a second. Now, by God, I mean the gray. The gray aliens that fly around in the UFOs. They came back to our planet around, I believe it was the turn of the century, or shortly before that, but somewhere around that time frame. And they instituted an ancient prophecy from the Old Testament. It started in 1915 with the prohibition of cocaine, and it progressed through the prohibition of alcohol, which to the United States government was a very lucrative, very empowering decade. The whole speakeasies and the cops versus gangsters, the whole increase in technologies that came about that, and the fantastic wealth that was generated during those days. And also the terrible violence that was the roaring 20s. That's why they roared. And then the alcohol prohibition failed. You see, at that time, the United States government and other governments around the world backing them were in contact with the Gray. They made contact and they negotiated a treaty which would have created a peaceful transition from human isolation to the Gray befriending humanity and the truth being revealed that they were our ancient gods. But greed and ego, a thirst for power, and a bloodlust, a thirst for war, created a situation where the United States government, along with other governments, took the technology that was given to them by the Gray, nuclear fusion, and instead of producing free worldwide energy, thus ending the monetary system, they instead took that technology and broke the contract that they had signed, the peace treaty that they had signed with the Gray, that stipulated that they could not in any way, shape, or form convert any alien technology into war, weapons of war, in any way, shape, or form. So, the governments broke the treaty, and the Gray, as was their intent, because they knew this was going to happen. They knew the humans. They knew the humans because they created them. They knew they knew exactly what was going to happen. But they let the humans do it themselves. Okay? So the humans followed their base nature and went after the money and the power, wars, chemicals, pollutants. And they were warned what would happen if they walked this path. But the governments did not heed the warnings of the Gray. And global warming is the result of that. Chernobyl is the result of that. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Bikini Atoll were all the result of that. Shame on us. But you see, the whole Roaring Twenties thing had been set up so that if governments reneged, that the Gray would already have a set plan laid out that could be enacted. And true to form, the governments followed their evil ways, and the Gray used their greed and their power and their bloodlust against them. And convinced the main characters of the little saga of the prohibition of marijuana to enact their evil deeds. Namely, creating a propaganda scare that allowed them to ban marijuana and illegalize the crop hemp, allowing Dow Chemical to profit off of plastics. And in so doing, they inadvertently advertised the Gray gift to mankind, which is the tree of life, marijuana. So, by creating the war on the prohibition of marijuana, the government unknowingly put into motion the creation of the people that will soon be known as Zion, the drug users. Now, marijuana is an alien plant, and its cousin hemp were left here on Earth for this very purpose. And they are the only two plants that are native to the Gray's original homeworld, which is extinct long ago. So marijuana is a very ancient plant that is a direct link to our Gray anatomy, that part of our physical body that was given to us by the Gray when they created the human creature that we are. We are part Gray. And hemp doesn't have THC, but it was there because it's a very useful plant in its own right. But marijuana contains THC, which is a chemical that has no correlation here on the planet except for in very trace amounts, but which on the homeworld of the Gray was one of the dominant plant forms and one of their food crops. So marijuana is a nutrient to the Gray part of our anatomy, and when we take marijuana into our system, whether we smoke it or we eat it, whatever, when the THC gets into our system, it activates the Gray part of our anatomy, literally giving us a evolutionary step towards our Gray part of our humanity. Because we are Neanderthals with Gray DNA added, making us a unique genome. And we were created, we were activated, literally, after a long absence of the human gray, which is what I call us, the priests of Zion, the pot smokers, the drug users. And we are a unique people upon the face of the earth. And I believe that if there are tests done with our anatomy and the use of our brain use, that they're going to be very surprised to find that people who use marijuana and other drugs have heightened brain activity. And that heightened brain activity is in the cognitive center and in enhances psychic and creates psychic abilities. So when you do drugs, especially marijuana, you must smoke marijuana to activate your gray genome, your gray DNA, because the THC enters receptacles in your brain that are designed in order to do that. It is like a gateway chemical. It enters those receptacles, and a chain reaction happens in the human body, where all of the dormant gray um, structures in the body are activated. And this gives us an advanced abilities. Like I said, we become an advanced form of human. So we are literally the top echelon of humanity. We're a step above everybody who doesn't do drugs, which is the great irony of history. Because the United States government broke their agreement with the Gray, and the Gray played a trick on them. They said, "Oh, you want to do that, do you? Well, watch this. Hey, if you ban this, you can have the Roaring Twenties perpetually. You can make all that money. You can subjugate all those people. You can oppress the poor. You can oppress the minorities, the blacks and the Mexicans in particular, and you can have as much fun as you can advance your police force. You can enhance your police force. You can make them a white supremacist coalition, which is what they did. And as a result, we were put through the fires of adversity, activated our gray anatomy, became psychic, and are now in a position where our Creator God is standing by ready for us to say, "Hey, God, we're ready to meet you. Would you please come and let us thank you for the wonderful gifts that you have given us in the name of rock and roll, drugs, God, drugs, and rock and roll." That's my three big things. So, if you use drugs, surprise! You're not the scum of the earth. You're the cream of the crop. You know that country song that says, "I got friends in low places"? No. I got friends in high places, and they've got spaceships and aliens places. My God is a real God, a living, breathing, alien God who is willing to come down to earth and say, "Yeah, we created the drug users. They're our children. And we're here to protect them. We're here to guide them, nourish them, provide for them, help them to win their freedom, and to create a better society with them." So, if you use drugs, be proud, my friend. You are the best the earth has to offer. So may the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm. And may they teach you right from wrong. May you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light the unicorn way. Find your joy and pursue it. Make that your guild choice when we get to camp. Stay happy and high. If you use drugs, you have every right and reason to. Believe me, I know. I wrote 2 books about it. My name is Zion, and I love you way too much to ever say goodbye. So I'm going to say later now.